your statement, you've mentioned that after the 6th of December, after that raid, you went back to Mr. Cat Matlala's property, this time his office, and you conducted a second raid. Now we know from the evidence that was also given by Mr. Matlala that the second raid also resulted in litigation that he instituted against you for the return of certain items. And including in these items, or included in the items, was allegations that you have misappropriated jewelry and a MacBook while you were conducting your raid. Could you just briefly take us through the events of the in relation to the second operation that you conducted?
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. Maybe then to save time, I'll follow the timeline. Operation is on the 6th. On the 12th, the team returns the cell phones. There is no litigation yet, but on the 12th, the team, because as I've indicated, we are the team is self-sufficient. Everything, the turnaround time of all the analysis or of work is very short because we have dedicated capacity and dedicated specialists. So the cell phones were returned on the 12th, and then on the 13th, and then Mr. Matlala signed the affidavit at High Court demanding his cell phones that were brought back on the 12th already. So on the 13th, he then filed the affidavit at court. So the only thing that was still outstanding were firearms. But in his affidavit, he's including even the cell phones that had already been returned. And then on the 17th, he filed then the notice of motion. On the 18th, as agreed upon between the team, Mr. Matlala and his lawyer, that was the appointment date to say that, because on the 6th, when the team took the 4 firearms, they wanted the rest of the firearms. But then Mr. Matlala indicated that they are on the sites. I reflected on the team being professional, understanding business. And then the team asked us to when can you be able then to bring the firearms together so as we can finalize the compliance inspection. And then it was agreed that will be on the 18th of December. And then indeed the team went there only to find that the responsible person who's having the safe key is not there. And then Mr. Matlala and the lawyer requested the postponement of that compliance, of which the team agreed to the following day. Hence, then on the 19th, the team went back, and then that compliance did take place, and 18 firearms then were confiscated for ballistic testing. Then on the 20th of December, that is when the team learned now of, because the previous date we saw on the papers, but we only learned on the 20th that Mr. Matlala has instituted high court proceedings for the return of his firearms as well as cell phones. To touch on the point, I think under paragraph 137, the interdict was to prevent any further harassment and the return. I'm touching on harassment after I've indicated on the working together on the 18th and on the 19th. Now, but then on the court papers, it's harassment and the return of the following items: the Rolex watch, which was not part of what the team confiscated, and the watch, yes, the firearms, the MacBook was also not part of the cell phones. 2, the team took 5, not 2, but he wanted 2 on the court papers, as well as 2 rifles and a Beretta 9mm pistol. That is what was listed. Then, but other than the cell phones and the firearms, the team did not confiscate, even in the form of stealing those items. And also on paragraph 138, one is tempted to also indicate, because in the founding affidavit is saying he was visited by 100 police officers from Special Task Force No, there were not 100. There was only 8. But then, as I indicated, that when we come and then you will think that we are 1,000. And then there were 8 special task force members and 8 NIU or TRT members, the members that were there. Fails to hold back the answer. Then he gives the answer because he has been saying we'll talk about. He says it needs someone brave enough. So that is the response from Willie Twerk. Then on the 27th of December, and then Matlala collected his own personal firearm from Brooklyn. It was the first firearm that came back from ballistic. And they all came back, but he collected only his own firearm on the 27th of December. Then on the 27th of December, so the other firearms are still at the police station, but they were all, because I think we have indicated our turnaround time for firearms that are less than 20, it's a week and a half or a week when we have to do the ballistic testing.
Honorable Jones.
General, thank you. I've been vindicated because Mr. Matlala, when we questioned him, he insisted that he collected all his firearms, not just the one that belonged to him. Why was it that he didn't collect the others? Were they not registered in his name?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe then fast forward, I was still going to come to that part. When were they collected? They were only collected on the 31st of December. The other firearms by Nika Mareko. So these firearms were not registered in Matlala's name, so he could not collect them. They were registered in the company's name. So he had to change the responsible person, and it's paperwork that you need to do for someone then to come and collect the firearms.
So you can confirm that he lied under oath when he testified and insisted that he collected all his firearms.
That is correct, Honorable Chair. I have evidence in terms of registers.
General, can clarify something there. You're saying the guns were not owned by Matlala's company, right? They were owned by a certain company. You're saying that?
No, I said they were owned by the company, not him.
His company.
His company, but not him.
Not him personally.
Not him personally. He was only having a license of one firearm. So the other licenses were belonging to a company.
Is this the same company I tell Maumela?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So on the 27th, maybe before that, on the 25th, I highlighted the persistence of Mr. Mchunu to Matlala about the IPT progress. And then at the end, Matlala is responding that it looks like it's not happening. It needs someone brave enough. Now, on the 27th, Mr. Mchunu sent a message to Matlala, which is a screenshot of his chat with the minister, asking if the arrest was effected. Then after receiving that, so in other words, according to our analysis and interpretation, Mr. Mchunu is now showing Matlala that it's not me who wants a response, it's the minister. Look at his question. And then Matlala then is forced then to respond and saying the case needs to have assault for him to effect an arrest. He's saying he can't do arrest if there is no J88 to prove assault, and my wife is not keen to open such a case. And the guards are also, that were assaulted, are also not at my house. They are only coming back in January. They went home for Christmas. So that message is a response of the question on arrest. On paragraph 155, we are demonstrating that with these 2 paragraphs above, we are demonstrating that the minister's response to the question of any arrest effected cannot be construed as referring to the Stilfontein illegal mining incident as it has been presented as evidence. Then on the 30th December, the PKTT, another very noteworthy, the PKTT ballistic analyst issues the first report that is linking the Vereeniging case firearms with other cases, including the killing of DJ Sambodi. The heat is getting on hotter. And then on the 31st, then as I've indicated, Enrica then collect the firearms of Cat VIP from Brooklyn and not Mr. Matlala as he alleged under oath. And then on the 31st, Mr. Mokhozi sent a screenshot about a constitutional court case, Cape Town case that he shared with the minister, saying that the minister or Sibiya can use this judgment to dismiss me, General Dumisani Khumalo. Then on the 31st, again, Mr. Mkhozi wrote to Mr. Matlala, reminding him about the outstanding issues. Now, this again today is the day. On the other side, I also think you must stand back. Mr. Matlala replies, stand back. I don't understand what you mean. Mr. Mkhozi says, for your safety and business, we must just fight what comes your way. And then Mr. Matlala responds to Mkhozi, this won't change my contribution towards the minister, though. I made a conscious decision and I'm not backing down. Whatever help the minister needs from my side, I'll be happy to assist. I just don't want to fight the losing battles. Then Mr. Mkhozi responds, here is our backlog and we now need to deal with this. It's the last day. I thought we spoke about it, but we did many regions. It's only 2 regions left. Is it possible for you to intervene on the membership for 2 regions at 12.5K each? Because today we must pay. This is the activities and communication of the 31st, the whole day. Then Mr. Matlala to Mkhozi, I'm sorry I missed your calls. I do not have a problem to help, but there is something I need to understand. Also hear what my concerns are. Please, like I said before, can we kindly meet whenever you have time and hear what I have to say? Then in the afternoon, the minister signs the disbandment letter. That is the business of the day on the 31st, the communication coupled with what's happening on the ground, which makes us to strongly believe that the letter and the disbandment of the PKTT was because of Mr. Matlala's complaint of harassment by the team, and Mr. Matlala was paying a lot in terms of the transitions and monies that you can refer to the Cape Town trip on the same day, talking about and the 2 regions that he needs to pay for. There is a lot, and then the letter is signed, whilst then he is having all those problems. To continue, on the 1st of January, Mr. Mkhozi writes to Matlala, good day, I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and minister, must have a solution. And then Mr. Mkhozi to Matlala again at night, the task team that came to your house and harassed you has been dissolved. According to our metadata analysis.
Just General. Jali.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. General, I just wanted to ask quickly, these regions, did you mention which regions? Because I'm looking at the page 50, maybe I've missed something, I might be wrong. When you said there's 2 regions, I can see here, paragraph 163.
Paragraph 163. No, they are not mentioned, the regions in this message as to which regions. That
and in terms of region, was he talking about political parties?
If you follow the whole discussion, yes.
So that was the ANC, am I right?
It's not indicated as to which political party.
Oh, well, the chief whip is here. He can confirm. Thank you.
The chief whip is not a witness here. Are you trying to implicate him?
I'm satisfied, Chair. Thank you.
Advocate Mokhozi. Honorable members, can we give Advocate Mokhozi this last hour to wrap up?
From what we've heard, in the evidence that was given in relation to the implementation of the directive, it appears that the implementation was spearheaded by the Deputy National Commissioner, because the National Commissioner at the time was on leave, and the email that was then directed to by the acting National Commissioner to the Deputy National Commissioner has seen an event unfold of the Deputy National Commissioner taking charge and seeing to the implementation of that. In your view, was it correctly placed with the Deputy National Commissioner to see to the implementation of the directive? And was he, because you are the coordinator of the PKTT, was the Deputy National Commissioner familiar enough with the operations of the PKTT to undertake such a big task?
To answer the question directly, I will say no, according to my view. I explained in details the procedure of establishment, that the approval, the final approval is with the accounting officer, the National Commissioner. So there was an acting National Commissioner. If the matter was so urgent, then the process was supposed to be handled by the acting National Commissioner in the absence of the National Commissioner. I came back from leave on the 14th. That's when then we had a discussion on the disbandment letter, and then he gave me the direction then to start writing a preliminary report. So on the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, all those days, we were in a process of drafting the report. So the agency of briefing the Minister on GI Ops came before the preliminary report. And then soon after the briefing on the 16th, and then I received then the directive from the Deputy National Commissioner on the 17th, that is having a list of issues that I need to include in the preliminary report. I've analyzed some, but basically they are all talking to the confliction of the disbandment directive from the Deputy National Commissioner's office now with the actions that he says I must take. I'm summarizing them from 1 up to 30, which is paragraph 191. And then maybe with one breath to sum up also the other confusion that was on that long directive. I was supposed to give the summary of the key considerations that resulted in the decision to disband the PKTT. I did not disband the PKTT, but I'm expected to give the reasons by the DNC. And then secondly, also on the next page, I was expected to do the analysis of the PKTT's effectiveness and impact on crime reduction. Already the letter was saying the team is having no value, but then afterwards, then I must give that impact analysis. And then the most concerning aspect was that I was expected to include in the report, according to the Deputy National Commissioner, was to include the stakeholder feedback from organizations such as NPA and SSA in response to the announcement of the disbandment. In other words, I was supposed to ask them, how do you feel? How did you take it? And then write back in the report, which I found it very impossible for me to do. So that is all in terms of the summary of the directive on the 17th. Then as I've indicated, paragraph 193, that's when then we're busy with the preliminary report with the National Commission. The first directive from the Deputy National Commissioner that was directed to me only was having that instruction that the dockets must be handed over to Lieutenant General Sibiya, of which I did not comply. And then the second instruction then was directed to General Sibiya only, now directing her then to take the dockets from me, of which then that was in compliance then of that instruction by Johnson Tumule on the 28th of March.